Hola a todo el mundo y bienvenido a mi canal. Yo me llamo Sirey. Soy una abogada afrolatina licenciada practicando la ley criminal, pero como todos ustedes, a mí me fascina cuando estamos hablando de casos de crímenes reales. En este video vamos a continuar hablando de David. Si quieren más video en español, nada más dime allá abajo. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Desiree. I'm a licensed and practicing Afro-Latina criminal attorney who, much like the rest of you, has a severe fascination with true crime cases. Listen, you guys, do you remember how in my last David video, I told you guys that in this David video, we were going to talk about the coroner's report that came out for Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Do you remember? Because I told you guys we were going to talk about it, and because my word to you is my bond, that is exactly what we're going to talk about in this video right here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, wait, maybe I'm lying, but just a little bit. We're still going to talk about the coroner's report in this video, but there was some things based on the last video that I wanted to clarify, you guys, because I want us all to have a better and richer understanding. Now, I know we talked about the fact that I have verified that there has been no grand jury indictment in David's case. And I got quite a few questions specifically asking why the grand jury didn't indict David. I am never going to be the attorney to lie to you guys. And if there's something I don't know the answer to, I'm going to tell you I don't know. But here is an educated guess as to what happened. Here are my two educated guesses as to why the grand jury did not indict David in this case. The first, it could be, as I explained to you guys previously, that the grand jury did not find there was sufficient probable cause to indict David as to the charges presented to it, and it returned back a no bill. And as I previously said to you guys, a no bill merely is a grand jury finding that there isn't probable cause to proceed. If they found that there was probable cause to proceed, they would return what is called a true bill. So my first educated guess as to why they did not indict him via grand jury in this case is because the grand jurors returned a no bill. Two, my second educated guess as to why there was no grand jury indictment in this case is honestly procedural. Okay, and let me explain. I've talked about the prosecution in this case, more specifically who I believe is the lead prosecutor in this case, Beth Silverman. And based on watching her in at least one other trial that lasted all my life, all your life, the afterlife, she goes on so much, it makes no sense. It would not surprise me if she felt like there was further investigation to be done and then decided to withdraw from presenting the case for grand jury. Does that make sense? I think there's more investigation that needs to be done. I'm done presenting this case. We'll just wrap this up and I'll charge it a different way. So that wouldn't surprise me either. Now, I will say this. Those are educated guesses because I'm not a grand juror. I wasn't in the grand jury room. I have no affiliation to this case. I don't know the prosecutors. I don't know the defense attorneys. I don't know the defendant. I don't know the victim. I don't know anyone involved. This is what I am guessing to you. But what I can tell you with 1,000% certainty is that there was no grand jury indictment in this case. Do you remember how we discussed in the last video that I was able to verify that because the defense attorneys in this case requested a preliminary hearing? Remember? And a preliminary hearing and a grand jury indictment both determine whether or not probable cause exists as to the charges that this specific defendant is facing. Let's take it one step further than that. An indictment and a complaint are two separate charging documents. Now, how am I so certain that there was no grand jury indictment aside from what I've already explained to you? Because the charging document in this case is a complaint. Does that make sense? Go back to the last video where we discussed David and read the top of the document that I shared with you. It is a complaint. Okay? So there was no indictment, because an indictment is one document that charges a defendant, and a complaint is another document that charges a defendant. And how have we verified that there was no grand jury indictment in this case? One, because the prosecutors acquiesced to defense's request for a preliminary hearing. And if a grand jury indicts a defendant, he is not entitled to a preliminary hearing. I keep hitting myself on his microphone, but he's not entitled to a preliminary hearing. And 2, the document that we reviewed together is a criminal complaint and not an indictment. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You following me? You following me? You following me? Okay. Now, there's one other thing that I think we should discuss, because I know a lot of people have been thinking to themselves, and I think I received some comments to this effect, but basically, Desiree, I wish we knew what happened in the grand jury room. Like, I wish we knew what happened there. I did not say this in the last video, despite the fact that I intended to. Grand jury proceedings are always considered secret proceedings. Okay? You want me to say it again? Don't worry, because I got you. Grand jury proceedings are always considered secret proceedings. Time 2 of me hitting myself on the microphone. And because of that, we won't know what happens in a grand jury proceeding. But now that the proceedings have concluded, and by request of David's counsel, we should have access to the transcripts shortly. And if I get my hands on those, guess who's going to go through those together? Did you guess it? That's you and me. Without any further ado, let's carry on. Okay, and I don't mean to insult anyone's intelligence. So if you already know this, good for you. But I don't think everyone knows every legal term ever to exist. And maybe you guys don't think this is a legal term. But regardless, I'm going to explain it to you, okay? What a coroner's report is merely a report with a medical finding as to the cause and manner of a decedent's death. I'm going to say it again. A coroner's report is merely a report done by a medical professional that determines the cause and manner of a decedent's death. Does that make sense? A decedent is the person that has passed away. Decedent is a person who has passed away. Okay? Now, a lot of times you will hear legal professionals, myself included, say the terms cause and manner of death kind of as one joint statement. But there are 2 different things, okay? Let me explain to you guys what those mean. The cause of someone's death is essentially how it happened, and the manner of death is the classification of how it happened. Does that make sense? I don't even think that makes sense to me, so I'll explain it to you guys. Like, a cause of death could be strangulation, and the manner of death could be suicide. Does that make sense? The cause of death could be gunshot wound to the chest, and the manner of death is homicide. So now that we all have a wonderful and clear understanding of what it is we're about to go through together, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and go through this together right now. As you guys can see at the top, it says County of Los Angeles, Department of Medical Examiner, Death Investigation Summary, Medical Examiner Case Number 2025-14252, Decedent Name, Rivas Hernandez Celeste Abigail, Date of Injury Unknown, Place of Injury Unknown, Pronounced Date and Time, September 8th of 2025 at 11 a.m. Date of examination, September 10th of 2025. Medical Examiner Investigator, Tapia Karen. Deputy Medical Examiner, Dr. Nam Ansel. Supervisor Deputy Medical Examiner, Dr. Ho Brandt. And Forensic Technician, Garcia Daniel. Okay, I'm going to stop right here, you guys, and just explain something to you guys just a little bit further. But if you'd please indulge me and don't get too tired of my explanations, okay? But basically, if you saw at the top of the report, it says the date of pronouncement was September 8th of 2025 at 11 a.m. That merely means that is the date that they're saying that she's pronounced officially deceased. If you also see, it says at the top the date of the examination, which was September 10th of 2025. So what do we know? We know that Celeste's body was examined merely 2 days after she was found in the Tesla and after they had pronounced her deceased. You guys might ask yourselves, well, Desiree, why on earth is the medical report just now becoming public? When did David get charged again? Right. And it is not uncommon that all cards aren't dealt immediately as soon as an investigation begins because they're holding them close to the vest. Do you know what I'm saying? So basically, all of this is becoming available now because he's in custody, he's been charged, and that's how they decided to do things here. Let's carry on. You guys will see towards the bottom, it says cause of death, A, multiple penetrating injuries, manner of death, homicide, how injury occurred with objects. Now let's stop again right here. Do you remember how I was doing so much harping on what cause and manner of death was? That's for this reason right here, because I want you guys to understand what exactly it is we're talking about. Although it is typically stated as a long phrase, the cause and manner of death is blah, blah, blah. It's two different things. And this right here further just describes it to you. The cause of death for Celeste is multiple penetrating injuries. The manner of death is homicide, meaning she didn't kill herself. As we continue on, you'll see the synopsis on this page right here. County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner, 2-hour autopsy, notification request by LAPD robbery homicide detective Byers. Information is preliminary and subject to change due to ongoing investigation. According to the reported information, on August 26th of 2025, a passerby reported an abandoned black Tesla that was parked on the street to the Los Angeles Department of Transportation. LADOT, so Los Angeles Department of Transportation, employees cited the vehicle on September 3rd of 2025, impounded it on September 5th of 2025, and towed it. On September 8th of 2025, a manager noticed a foul smell emanating from the vehicle and reported it to Auto Detective Clore. Detective Clore investigated the vehicle's front trunk and found a large black zippered body bag with handles. He partially unzipped the bag, revealing a human torso and the back of a head. He pronounced death on scene at 11 a.m. without medical intervention. There is no person of interest in custody at the time, and charges are pending. No weapon recovered. Now, we don't have to fully examine this part, but let's just talk about it just a little bit more, okay? A synopsis merely is a brief summary of what led to this coroner's report. As you can see, they're talking about how they found Celeste's body, what led to the body being recovered, and such, right? So they're basically trying to tie us into what we're about to go into next. And let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys will notice here at the top of this page, it says body examination. We know we're still dealing with the same case because you'll see that the case number remains the same, which is 2025 14252. Decedent's name is at the top of this document as well, as you guys will see, Rivas Hernandez Celeste Abigail, and it states further. Body examination. I observed the decedent's posterior head and torso lying prone in a body bag inside the front trunk of a Tesla. Her head was oriented towards the north. She appeared of indeterminate age and ethnicity with dark hair and natural teeth. She was wearing a tube top, underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and the back of the tube top. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the decedent's apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition, demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. I noted an approximate 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and a circular defect on her left flank. The left ring and pinky fingers appeared to have been mutilated, and I did not locate them during my scene examination. She has a tattoo that reads, "Shh," on the inside of her right index finger. I did not observe any other discernible scars or tattoos. Now let's just stop right here and thank you guys for bearing with me through this explanation and through this video. What do we learn from this body examination section? You know, honestly, what we already knew. Not only is David alleged to have killed her, but he also mutilated her deceased body. He tampered with her corpse. And this section just further confirms that for us. This is gruesome and this is grim. So I appreciate you guys just listening to me talk about it. But this is information that I need all of us to keep in mind as we continue our coverage into this case. Let's go further and see what else they discovered. Identification. The decedent was not ID viewable due to decomposition of the face and was not live scanned due to water-fogged fingers. She was assigned Jane Doe number 550. Per investigator Magdaleno, on September 16th, 2025 at 8:15 hours, Dr. Law positively identified the decedent as Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez via dental radiograph comparison. Let's stop right there so I can explain this to you guys too. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that Celeste's body was so decomposed that she didn't have fingertips or fingerprints by which they could scan to identify her. Obviously, they can't do a facial recognition because her body was so decomposed, but they were able to identify her through her teeth that remained in her mouth. Okay, you guys, thank you for staying with me as we reviewed the coroner's report as to Celeste's corpse. This is probably one of the more gruesome and challenging videos we're going to make, just because we're talking about, quite frankly, unimaginable things. Okay, you guys, so in the next David video, what we're going to discuss is this. It's my understanding that the preliminary hearing in this case was scheduled to start on May 1st of 2026. It's also my understanding that the preliminary hearing was continued, and it's now not scheduled to start until May 26th of 2026. Prior to commencement of the first scheduled preliminary hearing, the prosecution in the case filed the people's brief regarding preliminary hearing evidence. I got my hands on that. And we're going to talk about it all together. But again, you're probably going to have to wait until the next video. Before I let you guys go, let me say this, okay? Let me say this. I noticed that I'll get a lot of traffic on these David videos, and then I'll post some videos in the interim, and you guys just don't even want to see them. You don't even want to see them. For your own enjoyment and pleasure, if you would like, I'm going to tell you this and like my schedule of upload and how I'm trying to do things. Okay. I'm not going to continuously just post about David. That's just not going to happen on this channel. Why? Because not everyone is interested in every single case that I discuss. Okay. So for my David enjoyers, viewers, watchers, these videos are for you. For people who aren't interested in that, I try to post at least one other case or one other story whenever I post a story like this. Does that make sense? I'm not going to give you a frequency because I don't want you to be like, Desiree says she going to post 5 times a week for us, because that's not going to happen. Okay. But I'm just saying, you'll see like one David upload and the next video might not be a David upload. It might be an upload about another case that I'm also covering. And that's just because I'm trying to break up the monotony and just for people who are also interested in other cases that I'm also talking about, okay? I implore all of you to take a look at all the videos. You might like it. You might like the other cases. There's a lot of crime around the world, unfortunately. But if you stick with me long enough, we'll talk about it all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, y'all take care.